All right, we got that Dodge done yesterday. Popped the brake hose. Joe's working on that Dodge. Exhaust manifolds. Got a classic Pontiac too. Catalytic converter I put in that one. It's working great. And we got a Jaguar with a bunch of vacuum leaks and a weird noise coming from the engine. I think it's a belt tensioner when the engine misfires from vacuum leaks. That's what's going on in the shop from yesterday. But we're here to spend a new day in the shop, making it work. Get that light in. I'm Jimmy. We're making it work. If you're wondering what's going on, what's this guy talking about? Looking at, is it a car dealership? Is it? It's auto repair. I'll take you through the day with me, fixing cars, getting people back on the road. Could be European exotics, could be classics, could be, you know, luxury Jaguars, box trucks, whatever it may be. You know what? I'll put in some clips right here. That way you'll be better informed about what to expect in today's video. You guys might remember this one from yesterday. So now you know what's going on, other than the beautiful sunrise behind me. It's around 68 degrees. I think it's about 68. Yeah, 68 degrees this morning. Probably gonna hit 85 or so. Should be a nice day. I'm looking forward to it. We got a whole bunch of cars out here in the grass. Only 3 out in the parking lot, all of which are declined work, supposed to be picked up. So they didn't want to fix them. So they're towing them out. So we'll see what happens with that. But I gotta finish getting the shop open up. A lot more extension cords to plug in and rat traps to flip over to get things started. Gotta turn the compressors on, all that stuff. If you guys don't work in a shop, there's quite a few things. It takes a good 10 minutes to open the shop up. Some shops you go over to the switches by the first door, turn on 3 or 4 switches and all the lights come on. Doesn't work that way here. The shop's been pieced together for the 50 years or so it's been here. We've been patching things together and adding things, and you know, that's just how it works. But we make it work. That's what we do anyway, right? Let's get started. We're gonna learn a thing or two. We're gonna have some fun. Stay tuned. All right, runs way better. It's not pushing the EGR valve open, but I still feel a little ignition. I think it's got a weak coil or something. So we're gonna take a look. This tool, GTC 505, I don't take it out often, mostly for hard to get to applications or when they got ignition wires. So I can take a look and see how much kV I'm getting. That one's pretty low, 6 kV, but it's not under a load. I'm gonna just compare them and see if one's different than the others. So far they're all about 6 kV, so what do I know? I would expect 8 or 10, but that's all right. It's only idling. Now, when we hit the gas, this max number is what I'm looking for. See if one of them can max out better than the others or less than the others. Still a little misfire. That's a coil thing. We did do wires and plugs already as well, so this is a very capable tool I don't use often, but it gives you lots of options. See how this is dropping off? Those are probably our misfires. I'm going to go and check them all though. Probably going to need all 3 coils. I wouldn't be surprised. I would expect it to rise like this, not drop. So that's a concern. Someone burning something? Is that my cat I smell cooking still? I ran it yesterday for a while. That one coil's been changed, the other 2 haven't. I'm gonna recommend 3 coils. That's basically the bottom line. None of them are snapping up good. I might even have coils I can put on this to test it. And they're really easy. There's 2 5.5mm screws in each coil. If you remember yesterday on this Grand Dam, the check engine light went out after I put the cat in and started it up because it wasn't misfiring anymore so bad. I want to look at data. I want to find engine misfire data right there. Now I'm going to go through here. I'm going to bring up all the cylinders. It's got 6 of them. Now I'm going to put it in gear, give it a little power brake action like I did the other day testing the cat. And we saw the EGR valve open. Now we'll watch this. Three seems to be the worst offender. 1 and 3. Those are 2 separate coils. The way these work is 2 and 6, 3 and 5, 1 and 4. That's how the coils are paired. But it is possible for one side of the coil not to work correctly and the other is okay, but they fire in the plug on one side and come back to the coil on the other. It's called a waste spark system. Number 3 is showing the most misfires. Eventually I gotta put a test coil or 2 in this thing and see. I think it's a problem with more than one coil, and that's why I'm running around in circles. I'm gonna see if I can dig up some coils. Look for any carbon tracking or anything weird like that. I don't see any. These are just some old test coils. Yeah, they make it better or worse, one or the other. Instead of ordering parts, we'll just try some we have around. Definitely feels like ignition, so. Odd cylinders are in the back, even in the front, but these coils are not numbered correctly because they're random coils. All right, we'll bring our misfires back up. Well, that already feels better. Put it in gear. Yep. That's way better. Misfire here and there, 1. You don't want to see 8 and 10 like I was seeing before. So, all right, I feel a little better about it. Tell him to order me some coils now. So let's do that and see where we go. He said she wants to fix it. She declined a bunch of work the other day, but he said she's real nice. She's just not sure how much money she wants to put in the car. That's the thing. So she'll probably want to do this, I'm assuming. It's way better with the cat. Those coils will get it running really good. Hopefully it doesn't need anything other than that. We're not getting into induction services and things like that unless we have to. So let's go ahead. I was telling you, hey man, you turned off the computer, it's silly. So we'll go ahead and talk to them up front about this. We'll see if we go any further. That's the bottom line. You guys might remember this one from yesterday. I couldn't feel anything wrong with the way it ran, and I did an oil change. Customer wants to do spark plugs in a transmission service. I didn't recommend it, but that's what we're doing. Okay, I don't have a problem with that. 144,000 miles. It's either overdue or it's just been done, so we'll find out. I'll pull some spark plugs out and we'll have us a look-see. I'm gonna just flip this around back here instead of backing out. Can't fit through there, so. Something about that stupid little selector knob. Doesn't feel like a truck that way. I feel like I should be in some kind of European sedan. But anyway, let's get in the shop, put some spark plugs in there, and drain and fill transmission fluid. So I hope they don't think that's going to fix whatever this hesitation they're complaining about is, but we'll see. You guys know I show you what happens no matter how it happens. I'm going beat you. Since I'm going to be lifting it up to do transmission fluid, I got to get it on the lift centered a little better. That's better. Let's grab a 10, see what the plugs look like in the first place. I don't know. Air filter looks good from the top. Yep, been changed fairly recently. It looks like someone might have done valve cover gaskets, hard to tell. Alright, let's get a 10. One side the coil, the plugs are easy. One side you gotta take the plenum off. So I don't know if they got plenum gaskets for it or what, but we'll see. I don't like to do that. I like to figure out what their complaint is, what they're actually feeling. Oh yeah, okay, they're original. That's good. They do look pretty good from the top, but see the way that electrode's worn on an angle? They worn. We got some of the finest coils money can buy. The door last, buy 3 get 1 free, or buy 2 get 1 free, something like that. So these won't be numbered at all, which is fine. Look at that thing. You know that's gonna fire awesome. We'll go ahead and pop these in real quick. I'll verify it runs and clear the codes, take it for a little drive, and get back on that Dodge Ram. Way better. All right, this one's done. Back on the Ram. That thing is held on there pretty near good. This is like hardest part of the job, getting the stupid air snorkel dealio off. It hooks on the throttle body and hooks on the 2 tabs in the back. If you've seen these things when I've worked on them before, they only do this in the big trucks, and it's just a horrible thing that Bill and Bob have come up with. Basically what we'd categorize as a monstrosity. Not so bad, stop complaining. You pop the 2 back tabs up first, disconnect that hose, loosen the throttle body clamp a lot, then it kind of comes off. When you go back together, a little bit of lubrication slips right in. So far, I'm 0 for like 17. Every one of these, it breaks. You get about halfway out, then it breaks. You got just enough to maybe stick it back in where it goes. I don't design it, I just deal with it. You guys know that. A couple more hoses gotta come off of here. We got brake booster hoses, we got purge on the other side. There's 2 bolts down here in the bracket, and there's 2 bolts way back there. Well, we call them bolts. We call them nuts. Just depends on the mood you're in, what you want to call it. It's hardware, it's a fastener, it's a caveman's impact gun. Come on, let's do this. Come on, little hose. Man, that's... Alright. Let's try the new extended reach angle needle nose. It'll either come off or break. There we go. Maybe I shouldn't have said that. I don't really want it to break. I was just kidding. One good thing, if it breaks, I'm gonna have to Plenum off anyway. We'll just get another one. Oh my God, the jokes are coming back to haunt me on this one. Let's stop being silly and saying stuff that's gonna come true. I hope it's not glued on there, because it feels like it is. You know what this job pays? All these spark plugs, pulling the Plenum off, all that stuff. 2.3 hours in one labor guide and 1.6 in another. Now, I think this bracket might be a little easier to get the intake on and off. If you remove that bracket, I don't remember how I did it last time. I think I just took the nuts off and struggled to fish it back in. The studs that stick out of the manifold, I think I struggled to get them back in the bracket, but it works. The problem is the bolts in the manifold kind of float. They don't remove. There's part of the manifold, so you can't really get them out of your way, and the bolts kind of want to hang down while you're... It's fun, that's what I'm saying. Now these may look really horrendous, but they're only slightly horrendous. I get my ratchet wrench on there, and I get my little mitts back there afterwards. I should be able to turn it a turn or two, and it should come off by hand. It's easy, and the fact that it's 4 feet back from the front bumper, no big deal. And we got a cool little bracket in here under the purge valve. Holds the electrical connector. I do want to be extra careful right now, because I got the spark plugs out of there. I shouldn't really be messing with little screws that can fall in there. But we're waiting on the spark plugs to get here, and they're not really cooperating too good. So we're going to do what we have to do and just be a little careful, not getting too much of a rush. Because boy is it bad news if you drop a bolt down in a spark plug hole without the plug in it. Now it's a bunch of 8s, and I should be able to lift that plenum off of there in theory. I think it's 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, and the furthest one back, the hardest one to get to, is in there for good measure. They didn't need one in the front and the middle, but they got it in the middle and the back. I don't know why. Bill, Bob, you guys want to chime in? I think you can see it back there. It's not really that bad to get to. Someone's just being a crybaby. Alright, I don't even want to leave this. I don't want to leave this socket even hanging over the spark plug holes. I think I'm going to wait. I'm not even going to lift the plenum out yet. Keep it down over there, caveman. We are doing a professional production over here. What the heck? No respect. There we go. I'm going to wait and lift the plenum off until I put them spark plugs in. I have the time. I feel better about it. Because, man, I don't have the time to pull the cylinder head off. We might have taken Champions out of there, but don't let that deter you. I'm putting NGKs in. Not up to me. I do what I'm told. NGKs are actually really good plugs. The only problem I worry about, like some of you guys might know, is compatibility. Because Chryslers especially, if there's just a little change in resistance, they get mad. So, honestly, I think these newer ones are better. We had problems with them in the late, like 2008, 2009 era. This is a 2016, so we'll see. I've put them in before and not had problems on these, so. I know one thing. The phone's ringing! Oh my goodness gracious, I'm gonna have to go get the phone. Uh-oh. Keep getting interrupted. What the heck? I got work to do. Someone's got to pay the bills around here. Okay, got it. Okay, cool. Already got that electric grease on them. Don't you worry about it. I know what you were thinking. You just in there. Actually, it's more like this. I watch YouTube on my laptop. I don't like looking at the little phone. The only time I'll look at the phone, I'll watch videos and stuff on the phone, is if it's my only option. Like sometimes if I'm at lunch, I don't have my laptop at lunch. Look at my phone. That little tiny screen. We put so much effort into getting a big TV in our house, and then we watch stuff on a phone. It just seems odd to me. Am I the only one? Yep, I started him but the tool because there's a piece of rubber in there or something. It's making it hard to turn the bolt. So I just use my electric tool real carefully. It's done. So now I think I can lift that intake off without having to be concerned. A couple push pins back here. Make sure all the bolts are unthreaded. You can pop it out of those brackets on the side. They tell you to unbolt the brackets from the bottom and stuff too, but as long as you get all these bolts out of there, you can lift it out that way. Yeah. Come here. I'm not saying I've ever forgotten these, but if you haven't seen my other videos, I lay this on the workbench on top of the plenum, so I can't put it on and forget it. Some people just toss them away if they forgot them, but it's a noise insulator, so it's a good idea to put it back. I got gaskets for this, so oh, I see what you did there. Tricky little son of a gun. I like to change these. You don't have to all the time. I've mentioned before, this rubber recovers and it's significantly higher than the base, then it's probably okay to reuse them. But because these trucks make me lay on my belly a lot, I just change them. I don't risk it. I don't have to do it again. I'm just going to go ahead and get this out of the way before I drop a rag over it to keep stuff from going down there and do the spark plugs. This is all going to look similar to the outside, so I'm just going to buzz these in real quick. When we come back, we're putting the plenum back on this thing. There's a bushing in there that kind of holds the bolt, but you can thread the bolts out of them. Generally, once it feels loose, I need a better kitchen stool. The bottom legs are hard plastic, the cup covers, and it slides on the concrete. You get something that's made for the shop a little better. Let's see here. Now you got to put the plenum in and kind of do this to get it in these stud holes, and then you drop down that side. Nothing but a thing. Nothing but a thing. Where are you at? I gotta pull some hoses out of the back and that'll drop down. You know what's cool too is, if you want to take these studs out of there, Chrysler's gone out of the way to put a cool little washer so you can't pull the studs out and make it easier to lift it up. But I guess it helps support that stud so it doesn't crack. But some tubes that drops down. That's where I was. Focus. That's why it's not good to complain. Sometimes you lose your focus while you're complaining. Everything's out of the way. These are 89 inch-pounds, and sometimes I'll actually only go to 85, just because I just hate stripped plastic. If your torque wrench is properly calibrated, you follow the torque spec. The problem is, us mechanics, we're not like the airplane guys. We don't get our stuff calibrated every 6 months or so, so it could be off 4 or 5 foot-pounds or so, or inch-pounds, depending on the torque wrench, and that could lead to a problem. We don't want trouble. 8mm. Here. Gotta get a shorter one for that little son of a gun standing tall and proud. Careful you don't fall and bust your ass. Already got them back ones. See how that barely will stay in there? And it won't break on the next guy, that's all. Perfect. Put a little grease in here, and every single one of these I work on is like this. Because you basically, the design is so terrible, no one can get them on and off without doing major damage. So I'm going to see if I can fix that rubber biscuit, and then I'll put it on. Maybe it's a little easier to put on if it's in the right orientation. That's a little better. See what happens. Don't be silly. Let's do this thing. Got to go all the way back to that stud back there. Got a ways to go, doesn't it? It's the best idea they can come up with. Oh, Bill. Oh, Bob. You guys are awesome. I got it, though. In spite of your best efforts to make it nearly impossible. Still got it. Kiss my butt. A little bit of grease on there, it helps. I know in the silliness that Mercedes has, similar kind of stuff, it says never to grease those bushings. I'm like, tough. It's the only way it works. Jerk. Alright, air box is up back together, clamps are tight. I got my air temp sensor plugged in. Everything else is plugged in, map sensor, my hose. It's all good in the hood. Let's get this back on. I didn't take it off. But someone did at some point. I'm gonna do a training service too. I might go to a drive-on rack just so I don't have to set the rack to do this. It was fun moving it over to get it centered though. But it's easier to drive it up. I think the back drive-on rack's open. Here goes something. Oh boy. It's running as good as it did before. Except it's got new plugs. 100% oil life. I don't remember if I filmed that or not. I just use the steering wheel buttons. You scroll through vehicle maintenance, and then it says push the arrow to reset, and that's what I did. I leave it up for the customer to see that it was reset. It's a good idea to do that. They don't have to wonder. And every once in a while you'll forget, and 2 weeks later, of course, the light pops on, boink, and you need an oil change. And then you get, you never changed my oil, because they don't realize that that thing just based off of mileage or time and just pops on. Whether the oil was changed or not, you got to tell it. So, I mean, that happens way more than I'd like, but it does happen. Joe's got his cart back here. I wonder if he's doing something about it. I hope I'm not taking his rack. He's gonna be sad. Too late. Snooze you. Alright, well, they ordered a fluid for the Ram. It takes a special fluid just for that transmission. We're gonna go ahead and do this. We got approval on this cooling system repairs. You guys watched last week's video. I took a look at this. It's been a while, but we just got approval. We're gonna take this plenum off of there, change this thermostat housing dealio. I don't know if you call it a water outlet, whatever you like to call it. I can live with that. Hopefully this should come off of here. Well, not too many things are gonna break, but we'll see. I'll do my best. I'm gonna probably unthread this. It looks like it's not too rusty. It should come off of there. And once the plenum's out of the way, you can get to this housing. Sometimes you can get to the housing on some of these engines without taking the plenum off, but I don't remember having good results with this. We may take the throttle body off just to get a look in there and see what we really have to do. Well, let's start working on it. What do you say? That's what I like about having the parts before I start on a job. It can refresh my memory. I thought these 3 bolts in the front held it down, but it's 3 bolts in the back, and it sits in there like this. So, and looking back here, I noticed there's a clamp not on. That's one of the leaks, but it's leaking a lot from over there. As you can see, it's wet right now. So I think there's a couple different things going on. I might have to get the plenum out of there just to disconnect those electrical connectors, because they're really close to the plenum above it. Just trying to avoid breaking something. That's my biggest concern, really. Not even about saving time, it's about saving aggravation at this point. But I know the clamp's not on that one. The upper hose isn't all that tight. You can move that around. And this housing looks like it's also leaking. So, and there's the clamp for that is kind of like facing a bracket here. If you can see this, it's facing the bracket. I would have put the clamp head over here myself so you can get to it, but that's all right. We'll figure it out. We will figure it out. I'm going to take the throttle body off, like I said earlier, just to see what I can see after that. Plastic throttle body. Ah, good old days. Wood screws for everyone. And we got a little bit more room. Yeah, we want to know, can we save that upper hose? I said, I don't think so. It's all deformed. Rather get a new one. It's not the cheapest way to do it, but it's the right way to do it, and the least amount of potential problems. I wonder if I use my special belt tool here, get my special belt out of the way. Can't see down there if it's a 3/8 or a 1/2 inch. I think it's 3/8, but I'm going to try my 1/2 inch just because I want to. It doesn't fit, of course, but that's how I want to try. I'm going to try to take this bracket out of the way, I think, just because I can't get to the clamp anyway. So if I take this bracket out of the way, I might be able to get to these bolts and slide it out to get the electrical connectors out and not have to mess with the plastic plenum and stuff. We'll see. Might be a huge waste of time, but that's a risk I'm willing to take. That's cool. I don't have to get the last bolt out. It wasn't tight enough to hold it. I could turn it. Of course, I'll have to get to it to make it a little tighter. But I think I can get to the clamps for those. I'm gonna have to take this completely off. I was trying to be sneaky. I keep being sneakier and sneakier, and it'll probably just cost me more and more time. You know, some days you're just in the mood to see if you can be sneakier and save time and possibly spend some time doing it. Oh, yeah, executive decision. I'll just take it loose. I gotta tighten that bolt anyway, so I took the tensioner off so I can get to that last bolt. Now look at that. That thing basically falls out of there now. Of course, the thrill of victory is not ours yet. Luckily, neither is the agony of defeat. Anyone who's been around a while remembers that. I think it was ESPN. I need some clamping tools. That's a little clamp. I'm going to use a little tool. Oh, I think that hose is split. That is no bueno. It feels like the rubber, you know, if you've done any hose work or you're a mechanic and watching my videos, when the hose is split inside, you can feel it just gets to where there's no resistance to it. And hoses do normally go bad from the inside. This hose is destroyed already anyway, so I'm cutting it off. I'd rather not do that kind of thing, but I can feel that it's split back here somewhere. We'll have to get it off and take a look. We'll figure it out together. Oh. We're replacing it anyway. No worries. Looks like an Allen. I don't see any flats on the side of it, do you? That's not good. Of course, I have Allens that'll do it, but I don't think that's supposed to be what's in there. We might need hardware. We're going to replace that lower hose too that goes from the water pump up to the housing. I'm going to see what kind of Allen I need. It might be a Torx. It's got coolant in it, it's hard to tell. I got my Vim extended reach Allens and ball Allens and Torx and all kinds of cool stuff. I think this is the right one. Oh yeah. Still want to get it as straight as possible. The straighter it is, the more bite it'll get. It works on a little bit of an angle. That's the whole idea behind it. They're just quite a bit more fragile because it's only using that rounded corner. I'm gonna have to pull this housing out of this hose to turn it and get those electrical connectors, I think. I can get to the one. If this will fit behind there, I'm not sure. That's off. This one faces forward. This tool's really cool. You guys might have seen it already if you've been watching my videos a while, but it's a Lyle tool sent to me by my viewer. I believe it was William sent me this. You guys are awesome. Every once in a while I get a little something in the mail, and it really helps me feel like I'm on the right path with this whole YouTube thing. Not that anybody has to do that, just subscribing and liking the videos enough. Any support is appreciated. Let's pull this off the hose down here. Oh, that's broken too. This thing's already been changed. It's an aftermarket one, and it's broken now too, so just what is what it is. Plastic has a lifespan. It's broken off the bottom too. Oh, you know what? I thought that was a new water pump. I think that is a Jasper engine. The block is painted gray. The block is painted gray. And I think they were just silver or black from the factory. Either silver if it was aluminum or black if it was iron. I don't remember that part, but I don't think they were ever painted gray. Do you guys know? Maybe one of my Ford experts can say, but this engine is not original, I think. Anyway, carry on. Let me go check on these hoses. We can put this back together. All right, we got some hoses while I was at lunch, and looks considerably smaller because it's not swollen yet. And this one, it doesn't get bigger on the one side like it's supposed to, but we'll see if we can get it to fit on there. This one faces back. I I'm going to face the clamps the other direction. The main reason I took this bracket off was because I couldn't get to that one clamp anyway, right? So I don't want it to be trapped. It was trapped behind it like this. I'm going to face it out so it's a little easier to get to it. I'm going to clean that up a little bit. I'm going to stick that housing in there. Squeeze this in. It's got the O-rings already built into it. I'm going to connect these up. That hose is a little small. Fun trying to get that one in. Might need my little hose pick tool. Worst case scenario, you can pinch that hose together and put it in afterwards, but it's a bear. So I'll struggle with this a little while and try to get this together this way. Let's see what happens. I could probably put a little coolant on it to help. The phone! It's got to go on another 1/8 inch. It looks like I might have to trim it. It's pretty close right there. On. This does have a steel spacer inside that housing, so you can't over tighten it. I mean, you can, but you'll break the bolt before you crush the housing. The bigger problem is they seem to break where the hoses connect, not where the bolts go. So snug this one up here a little bit more. I think we're good right there. Let that down a little bit. See if we can get this hose on there. Just might work. This one goes on this end. Of course, this hose is in the way. Might have to move this clamp temporarily. Come on. Huh. I thought the metal end was going to be the one that was hard to get it on. There it goes. This isn't on as far as I'd like, but it's not kinking or anything, and it's on plenty of room for the clamp, so we're good. Call it a win. Alright, clamp. All you need is 2 or 3 different kinds of tools. That goes right on. Stay. Oop, I don't want to tighten it yet. A little looser. Perfect. One bolt under the tensioner, so now I can put the tensioner on.
If that's the case, then you need under the thing for
oh, come on now.
Whatever's got in there. Yeah.
You on everywhere, you turkey. When you look at the sticker, your first instinct will be like, well, that's not that old, but look how swollen it is. Look at this. The replacement hose. So, in the garbage. Part of me is thinking if this thing was in front of this before. You guys remember? I don't remember. I'll have to look at the video and maybe I'll see in the video when I edit it. But in any event, it definitely looks like it goes behind it. At least with the fresh hose. And the clamp's got to be out of the way. Really important to get that all the way on, it looks like, too, just because of the way it has to mold and clear things. Oh, I've gotten the clamp upside down. Look at that son of a gun, wouldn't you? And I'm normally really good about thinking of that kind of stuff. I didn't this time. Oh well, it is what it is. Pull it back off. Ugh. Flip it around. A little bit more. Be a turkey. It's hitting the housing underneath. Okay. Machine screws hold the bracket because there's brass inserts in the manifold. And wood screws hold the throttle body up. What noise you making over there, buddy? One more. This runs down to the valve cover breather. I put this cover on here, some coolant in this thing. Boom. There was only one screw holding this cover on. Now at least there's two. We'll try to get it as full as we can and we'll fire it up. Get rid of that nasty air pocket it's probably got. The coolant was just at the bottom of where that housing bolts up and all, so it's already pretty full. Rinse the mess off so no green drips hit the ground anymore. We'll let it run a little bit. I'm going to close this off because it seems to be purging. I topped up the overflow tank. We'll let it run a little bit, make sure we get hot air. We'll probably have to add a little coolant, but this is what's really bothering me. I'm tempted to loosen the radiator mounts and flip that around, but the fact that the shroud's not really right for the radiator makes me wonder if I should. I might be doing more harm than good. At least this way it's forcing all the air to come out of the radiator instead of past it. But the fan could pull air from here instead of through the radiator if that's not there. I'm just going to leave it. Come back and check it in a little bit. Alright, we got nice hot air off the fan. I'm going to take it for a short drive, park it in the fence, and he's not taking it for a few days, probably till next week. So we'll check it in the morning again and make sure the radiator is still full. See if it pulls some coolant out of the overflow. This one's done. Coolant leak's fixed. Runs a little weird. I don't see any vacuum leaks, but it's running kind of like it's lean. We'll see. We'll cross that bridge if he wants to go a little further with that, but it's holding coolant. Let's see what's next. Ah, the old Audi Q7. Finer automobile does not exist. Okay, maybe that's an exaggeration. I wonder if the AC works. It was off, and it's on the lowest setting when you put it on automatic. So it probably doesn't work that great, I would assume. All the windows are down when I got in it. They're not here for that, though. They got ABS light on, tire light on, stability light on. 133,336 miles. About 4 times life expectancy. They said the back windows don't work. That's what they're here for. Back windows don't work. I'll give it a love rating of 5. Reluctantly, I'm almost going to say 4. I'm trying not to do halvesies because, I don't know, it's just not that important. Let's check out these back windows and see what's up. Do they not work from this switch? Nothing. From this switch? Nothing. Is the child security thing off? That button doesn't work. Never lights up. That might not be the problem. We'll see. Interesting. Yep, they're right. It doesn't work. Alright, let me get a scanner and see if it sees the switch commands. I'm not sure what they charge them to check it, but I'm gonna guess it's probably not enough. Because take door panels off and all these things, see if there's power getting to the motors. A little bit of work, you know. Not the hardest car in the world, not the easiest car to get the door panels off, but you talk about taking both door panels off, testing the motors, testing the switches, that kind of thing, for 1 hour is not going to cover it. So, and then do you leave it apart while they try to order parts that might take 3 days to get for an Audi? That's the other concern. Even more so, So I use a scanner, and I can at least see if that switch is telling it to work the windows. That'll help. All right, we're going full top down. Scroll this some gum into this scan tool. The air seems to be working okay now. Why not put the AC on? Why you have all your windows down? I don't understand. They got New York tags on. They got to be hot. 2009. It says 07 of 08. So I guess July is the next model year for Audi. Okay. I'm not going to argue. That's fine with me. Let's enjoy some AC. It's like 86 degrees today. 87. A little warm out. They put the fans on like 9 this morning. System list, smart scan, 3 ECM codes, 1 brake code. All right, we'll let this cook a minute. Oh no. I mean, I'm not surprised. Are you? You shouldn't be. 2 pages of codes. That's terrible. We got evap codes. We got CAT codes for bank 1, CAT codes for bank 2, ABS hydraulic pump failure, right rear door control module, no signal. Control module display head unit, no or incorrect basic setting adaptation. Display unit buttons, operating unit, no signal com. Say unicorn? Unication, okay. Button and control head jammed. Does that mean that? Or does that mean that? I don't know. You Audi guys, you tell me. I don't know. I just set it on fire and I'm done with it. That's right rear door control module. Well, that is something. But that's in the climate control module. Does that mean right rear door in the HVAC? I don't know. Electronic central electric. Electronic central electric. Ah, this is good, yeah? Footwell lights. Function limitation due to insufficient voltage in the media player. Supply voltage, data medium, tuner not enabled or activated. I wonder if that has something to do with that little add-on doohickey they got. Component protection active, data bus. Energy management active, static current, right rear door control module in a data bus interface. Driver's door electronics, function limitation due to insufficient voltage. Driver's door electronics, right rear door control module. That's driver's door saying right rear door control module. That leads me to think there's something going on with modules in the door, not necessarily motors or switches. Left front bass speaker, right front bass speaker. Function limitation due to insufficient voltage in the sound system. Blah blah blah, a bunch of sound system codes. Passenger's door electronics, right rear door control module, no signal. Passenger door electronics, function limitation due to insufficient. This might have just blown fuses or something, but they probably blew for a reason, right? It's motor for window regulator, open circuit. Aha! Left rear door, function limitation due to insufficient voltage, tire pressure monitor, tire pressure sensor, tire pressure warning. I'll check the tires too, make sure they're at least aired up, but she didn't ask about that light. Probably already knows what's going on with that. So I'm going to investigate. I'm going to look into this 1334 446. There's 1334 a few times. Let's focus on 1334 and 446. I'm going to take a look at some flow charts and see where fuses might be located, and we'll come back checking at those. Aha! Fuse 5. There's a fuse panel on both sides of the dash, and the right door modules are controlled with power from the right fuse. Your phone, it's ringing! Fuse 5, 15 amp doors passenger side. Well, if that's only for, if it's for both doors, then it wouldn't be that, would it? We'll check it. 15 amp, number 5. It does not tell you which one's, oh, there it is. There's a little picture down there. So the middle row, oh, wait a second. Every row is numbered 1 through 12. That's convenient. Thank you, Audi. I appreciate your effort. So let's, you know what we'll do? We'll just look for a blown 15 amp fuse that goes to the module. Nope. Nope. No other 15s. It's a 35 to the motor and a 15 to the module, and both of those fuses are good. So basically I need permission to open these doors up. What I'll probably do is, because we don't have communication with this right rear door module, and she's saying something with her locks and her rear windows don't work. And apparently if one of these modules goes down, it disables the power lock, so you got to use your key. And it's very common that these modules fail from everything I've seen. I just have to prove it out. I have to get inside here, see if I got power grounded the module and it's still not talking, then we know that module's bad, right? Like I said earlier, there's only so much I can do, and the one we started an hour diag, they tell you it's going to cost this much, covers the first hour. If you go over the first hour, then it's additional, and it's an Audi, so you can figure out some things in an hour, like a misfire and coil or something like that. But door modules and taking doors apart, nah. So I think I've said it enough times now. The horse is dead and I'm still kicking it, so we're gonna see what happens if they want to go a little further and take these doors apart. I want to see, are the parts available before we take it apart myself, but you know, it's not up to me. Imagine thinking it's cool to be in the cartel. This customer, if you remember, I put a battery in it. He had a bad battery, but he says that when he squeezes the ECM connectors, it stalls. I don't know why he's squeezing his ECM connectors, especially because you got to pull covers off to get to them. But I'm gonna start it up right here, take this 13 out, lift it out, see what happens when I squeeze the connectors. Maybe it has a bad pin, corrosion, ECM board inside, you know. Anything's possible. Yep, it's got a Hemi, loud and proud. I'm not sure if he knows what the PCM even is. If we're going the same connector I am, I don't know. It's not locked. None of the latches were latched, but it's alright. It's not as important as it looks. Make sure there's no wiring touching where it should be. I don't see any rub through on the harness, but I do see some nastiness right here. Oh, you want to see it? Alright, alright. Stop complaining. I was just talking to somebody about that in the comments. Look at that nastiness. Doesn't mean it's a problem, it just means it looks nasty, that's all. Something to keep in the back of our minds while we continue our query. He had these unlatched, so we should leave them unlatched, I guess? Well, see, you can unplug them. That's not supposed to happen. Well, that'll make it shut off if you unplug the ECM. That's not good to do, by the way. Don't do that. Don't be like Jimmy. Why is that not latched? This one doesn't want to latch. Let's pull it out and have a look. I don't see any discoloration. Sometimes when these are bad, there's corrosion going on. You'll see green or white powder around the pins. Like, this is nice inside, everywhere. Why is that not latching? Yep, I had to pull this out to get it to latch. Okay, let's start it up again. See what happens. I plugged this one in all the way and latched it down because I was touching it, it fell off. So I pushed them all the way down and latched the safety. I gotta clear some codes. Just that it only does a few brands. That's how they're keeping costs low. But if it suits your purpose and you work on Ford, Chrysler, and GM a lot, it's been working good for those. Engine cannot be running. Turn the key off, back to on without starting the engine. It'll go through and clear codes in all the modules. Then it'll show you if any codes return. If they're hard faults, it'll come right back. This car had a high idle from a connection problem at the ECM. You should be good, no more codes. Alright guys, I'm a little tired. We did a lot of work today. Hope you enjoyed today's video as much as I enjoyed having your company. I hope maybe I'll torque the like button on the way out. Subscribe if you haven't yet, all those kinds of things. You guys know, you gotta check the Amazon store out because the truck's costing me a fortune. And you know, even though Amazon, for my affiliate links, they give me quarters and nickels and stuff, but it definitely adds up. So that support's really appreciated. I don't want to make it sound like it doesn't matter. It matters a lot because you guys are supporting the channel, and I really appreciate that. So I hope I see you in the next video because you're awesome.